Welcome to Keller Field at Dakota Park and St. Louis Park boys baseball as the Orioles open the 2014 season. Actually, they don't open it. It's game 5 of the year, but it's our first time joining you here with Park 16 Sports. I'm John Fromm. I'll be announcing today's game. And happy that Paul Broden and Misty Lewis and our crack crew were able to bring you this doubleheader today. This is a doubleheader conference matchup as the Orioles, with a 4-0 record, 3-0 in the conference, lock up with the Irondale Knights. Irondale 3-2 on the season. As you see, a beautiful shot of the new scoreboard that just went in last May in honor of Derrick Keller here. And happy to join you. Stepping in to lead things off, here's Ben Bookie, the second baseman for the Knights. Bookie playing second base today. He'll step in against Archie Olson, the junior right-hander for St. Louis Park. Olson making his third start of the year for the tall. He gets it right over the plate. Archie really worked a lot in the last few years to hone his craft. Big, strong legs, big torso. Really well put together for the junior right-hander. Little change up play there, a curveball. He's got quite an arsenal of pitches that Archie will bring at you. Honed his craft the last couple of off seasons working with a Minnesota Blizzard fall team as well. So that one popped high towards short center field. Joey Jaramillo and Patrick Borderwick. And Jaramillo, the junior shortstop, going to move towards the second base side of the field and call him off for the first out. So a pop to short on the 1-1 pitch and one down early on here. You take a look at Olson. With all the terrible weather early, the Orioles haven't played an entire week, and neither have Irondale. So a week between games, and then they're going to get a doubleheader tonight. So a little change of pace there. Looked like a slow breaking ball, and he gets that over for an 0-1 count. There you take a look at Archie's line score. 2 games on the year. He's got the win, 7 2/3 with 9 Ks. That one's popped high, going to blow foul and blow out of play here. And Olson quickly works ahead 0-2 to Noah Espeseth, the senior right fielder. Espeseth donning the number 2 for the Knights. This will be the last time Irondale and St. Louis Park are conference rivals, as both teams heading in different directions after the year. Here's a nice little slow breaking ball, and Espeseth does a nice job spoiling that on the 0-2. Behind the dish today for St. Louis Park, and the young man who's done all the catching so far for the Orioles, you've got the junior Kyle Nordstrom flashing the signals that are put in here. Orioles are coached by head coach Jim Nunn and assisted by Tom Spaeth and Danny Bissonette over there. Oh, goes high with the fastball. Tries to get him to chase high on the ladder, and a nice executed fastball there. And nice hand-eye coordination by Espeseth, able to spoil that on the 0-2 offering. So count will ride along at 0-2 here. If you just joined us, the Orioles come in with a 4-0 record. Irondale 3-2 on the season. And that one high towards third base. A beautiful backhanded stop by Lucas Savage. Beautiful play on the 5-3 across the diamond. And the senior Lucas Savage, having to range far to his left down the line, takes almost a sure single, possible double away from Espeseth for the second out of the inning. So nice play by the senior captain Lucas Savage in his 3rd year as a varsity starter. Saw a lot of time at third last year and did some catching as well as a sophomore for the Orioles. And here's a big hitter for the Knights. Here's Ben Danielson, slowly going to take that breaking ball for ball 1. Danielson donning the number 34, a well put together junior, catching today as well for the Knights and batting third. Little change of pace by Archie. As we mentioned, Archie's 3rd start of the year, 7 2/3 coming into the game, only giving up 9 hits. The walk total a little high, but the first game was a game against Hopkins where the wind was blowing about 50 miles an hour. So that one taken off the inside of the elbow there, as it looked like Archie tried to execute an up and in fastball, and it did catch him on the inside of the elbow there. So hit by pitch for Danielson with 2 outs. On the 1-1 pitch, and that'll bring up the cleanup hitter and shortstop today, Jake Marianovich, number 4, who's playing shortstop today for the senior. There you see a look at the Orioles around the infield. Lucas Savage, Jaramillo, Borderwick, and Foltz left to right. Remfer, Burnley, and Keller in the outfield. A little high, tight fastball executed. 1-0 there as he starts it off to Marjanovic. Lots of seniors and juniors out there. It looks like for the Knights, they've got 6 seniors in the starting lineup today and only 3 juniors. And one of the juniors is at first base. We see Ben Danielson over there taking a lead. The senior Danny Foltz at first, going to hold him on there. The left-handed throwing Foltz over at first today. And a nice change up there, going to move ahead in the count a little bit here. So we mentioned, even though the Orioles have hardly got any games in because of the weather, this is already the 3rd start for Archie. So going to go high up the ladder. Nordstrom with a nice catch and a throwback. Nice job by Foltz, able to do that. Nice job by Nordstrom. Saw quite a bit of catching, backing up McConnell right along at 2 balls and a strike. I was going to say Nordstrom backed up Mitch Thomas last year as the Oriole catcher, and Mitch graduated with several seniors. Little high fastball there, and count going to move to 3-1. 2 down here in the first inning for St. Louis Park. If you just joined us, Irondale coming off 2 huge wins last week when we did have good weather, defeating Park Center 12-0 and also Fridley 10-0 in their last 2 games. Did have a chance to visit with somebody who follows Minnesota high school baseball closely, and he mentioned that when they played Park Center, they were undefeated in the Northwest Suburban. So good win for Irondale last week with a strong Park Center club. Full count here as Olson with a token toss over to first base here. Again, left to right in the infield, Lucas Savage, Jaramillo, Borderwick, and Foltz. Remfer, Burnley, and Keller in the outfield for Park. And that one, second hit batter of the game, and unfortunately for the Orioles, that'll put Marjanovic at first with 2 outs. Danielson took off with a pitch, being a full count with 2 outs. Looks like Marjanovic going to be okay as head coach Brian Peliquin going to step down from his third base coaching box and just check on his junior. So we mentioned Irondale with 6 seniors in the starting lineup and only 3 juniors. So a veteran team for Irondale as well. They had 2 close losses to Benilde and to Tino. And I think if you ask anybody who follows high school baseball and North Suburban baseball, I think it should really be a dogfight between these 2 teams, Benilde and Irondale. Benilde starting off with a 10-0 record on the year, but have had a lot of close victories in that. And Totino, obviously a quality, experienced team as well. So Olson with 2 hit batters here after he retired the first 2 outs, and that'll bring up the 5th place hitter, Kyle Livengood, the left fielder for the junior. Going to float that outside corner and paints a strike over to get ahead early on in the count. Livengood, he's lucky 7, number 7 at the plate and playing position 7 in left field. Goes up the batter a bit, and Livengood with a nice strong rip at that, unable to catch up. 0-2 the count will move to. 2 outs here in the top of the first inning. Nice shot of Livengood from our first base camera angle. And he's going to beat out an infield single as that hit off Olson's edge of his glove, off the tip of his mitt. Not sure if Borderwick would have had a read on that at second, but when that ball was redirected, it just went harmlessly into an area that created an infield single. So nice hard contact by Livengood, and that'll load the bases here with 2 outs and bring up Michael Beath, the first baseman, playing third base today. There you see, kind of went into no man's land off the bounce there. Beath, slightly open stance. Is Olson going to go to the full windup here with the bases loaded? Just going to go up the ladder here with ball 1. Nice little time for a visit here as Nordstrom, the junior, talking to fellow classmate Archie Olson, also a junior. Quite a few juniors in the lineup today for St. Louis Park. As an all-junior outfield and junior Jaramillo, and a lot of youth in the program for St. Louis Park. Going to make it 2-0. Just one pitch away from getting out of the inning. Still scoreless here, but it's a 2-0 count. 2-0 count on Beeth. That'll make it up high and ride the count to 3-0. So probably a take sign being flashed from Brian Peliquin down in the coach's box down in third base. Maybe even 2 takes. No score if you just joined us. Just 1 infield hit and 2 hit batters have loaded the bases in the first inning. And that's going to walk in the first run, first walk of the inning, getting a plate Danielson, who had reached with 2 out on a hit batter. And Coach Nunn going to consult with Tom Spaeth and Danny Bissonette, and they're going to let the junior just try to work through this and not have a visit with him. So that'll bring up the 7th place hitter, Scotty Black, doing the DHing today, number 10. Black really crowds the plate. Olson missing high with that. That's going to happen early on in the season when the kids haven't gotten in a rhythm. He pitched about two weeks and 3 days ago, and then he hasn't pitched in 8 days. So kind of hard to simulate this in the gymnasium for both the pitchers. So Archie coming in high with a lot of his offerings. Not sure if he's got a full extension on his delivery, and if he's and there he reaches a beautiful fastball low out in the inside corner there. So that'll push it to 2-1 to Scotty Black, the junior DH today. And that one up and in again as well, and Black with a nice strong cut at that. Just missed, and that'll push the count to 2-2 here. 2-2 count, I believe, with 2 down. And that nicely executed high fastball, and Black with a nice job just peeling that back out of play here. So Black, the 7th man to bat in the first inning. Bookie and Espesith were retired on a pop to second, and a nice play by Luca Savage at third. And then we had a couple hit batters, infield single, and a walk. So 2-2 the count, 2 down. Ooh, and nicely executed by Black again there as he spoils another 2-2 offering. There you take a look from our vantage point. Misty Lewis perched high above the third base dugout. We have a full crew of 3 cameras today, and we're happy to be able to present this to you on Park 16 Sports finally. Oh, he just missed shaving the inside corner on a beautiful pitch that time. Just a little bit inside, but that'll push the count to full count. And with 2 outs, all the runners are going to be off with the pitch here. So any kind of hit to the outfield possibly could even score the runner from first, who's got a big lead and is already off with the pitch. That's going to be popped high, short center field. Burnley and Jaramillo converging. Borderwick going to call it, squeeze, and make the out. And nice at bat by Scotty Black, but the pop out to second base is going to retire things here in the top of the first. 1 run scores on 1 hit. Bases, 3 left for the Knights after a half an inning. And for Archie Olson, I'm sure he's got to feel real good that after struggling for a few batters there with some control, he was able to get things back together and fight through the Scotty Black at bat and get him to pop to second for the 3rd out of the inning. So, as we mentioned, Irondale coming into the game with a 3-2 record. St. Louis Park 4-0. You take a look at the lineup that's going to face Irondale today. Jason Keller leading it off in left field. Joey Jaramillo, the shortstop, the junior. Burnley, another junior in center. Jake Lucasavage playing third. We saw him make a nice play defensively, batting fourth. And then Kurt Greenbush, the DH, who leading the Metro in hitting with a .733 batting average and lots of extra base power. We'll talk about that later for the senior captain, Greenbush. And then Archie Olson, the pitcher, going to hit today, hit 6. Danny Foltz, the senior first baseman, going to bat 7th. And then you got Kyle Nordstrom hitting 8th, the catcher. And the only sophomore on the varsity, Patrick Borderwick, who had a nice squeeze on that 3rd out of the inning, will hit 9th. You take a look at the senior right-hander Jake Goldsmith, his third start of the year. If Paul will leave that line score up, that is correct, fans. A .95 ERA after 2 starts. He has 12 innings on the hill with 13 Ks, only 4 walks, and a 1-1 record. A .95 ERA. Goldsmith is going to be taking his pitching exploits down to St. Mary's next year, as he's been recruited and has been part of the Minnesota Blizzard through the Minnesota Baseball Academy traveling program this last year. He and senior fellow pitcher Tony Grabowski for Irondale, both going to play college baseball and pitch. Grabowski on his way to Northern Iowa Area Community College to pitch. And they also have Michael Beath, who we just saw earlier get the RBI on the walk. Beath is going to St. Mary's. And St. Louis Park, with a lot of young men, they'll have a possibility of playing baseball after high school as well, and we'll talk about that. One nice addition to the Orioles this year, new jerseys, new uniforms with the small number on front, as well as the smiling Oriole with the hat, courtesy of the Baltimore Orioles. We've taken that from the Orioles Nation, and here you see one of the better athletes in the North Suburban coming up to lead things off. This is junior Jason Keller going to step in against Goldsmith. Keller, a starter on the boys basketball team at Park this year. And for the junior Keller on the year, high offering, just floats high for ball 1 there. Good speed on that Goldsmith fastball. My first chance to see him live, but I had heard from Adam Barta that both Goldsmith and Grabowski had done a really nice job through the Blizzard program this last fall and winter. So 2-0, nice start. As we mentioned, they haven't played for a week either, so a good week, 8-day break for the Irondale team to hit the field with all the rain we've had this week. That one hit hard to the right side, and it is going to go through for a nice clean single by Jason Keller as he goes clean with that pitch and has a nice clean single to right field on the fastball. Just went with it away, and Keller from the leadoff position is blessed with some good speed. Here's junior Joey Jaramillo, who does some pitching for Park in his second year as a starter. Jaramillo starting at shortstop today. Number 7 with a slightly open stance for the Orioles. Joey, another member of the Minnesota Blizzard program, as Joe Burnley is as well, and Archie Olsen. Joe and Joey in the 2 and 3 holes, full-time baseball players for St. Louis Park. They've decided to focus their efforts on playing baseball and contributing to Orioles' successes on the field. This year, they're both just juniors, as Keller is, so first 3 in the lineup will be back for St. Louis Park next year. And all good athletes who participated in basketball and other sports growing up as well, too. So Keller with a nice size lead at first. High fastball, nice throwback behind by Danielson, but that ball's going to get away from the first baseman and scoot down the line, and Keller's going to get to second. It's a nice clean throw by Danielson from his backstop position. Unfortunately for the Knights, Loken not able to get a clean hold on that, and that ball drifted and rolled down the first base line, but nice throw behind by Danielson. So Keller moves to second on the, I'm going to call that an E3, an error on the first baseman, because I thought that ball should have been caught. Come off the mound just a tad. So Keller sits at second with nobody out and a 1-1 count on the junior Joey Jaramillo for St. Louis Park. I'll give you some of the statistics from each of these young men as we go here. Just the fifth game of the year for Park. They're 4-0 on the season. Square around by Jaramillo, and he bunts, unfortunately, underneath that as Coach Nunn in the third base coaching box, just emphasizing to him if he's going to drop a bunt down with 1 strike to make sure he gets on top of that and pushes it probably towards the first base side. Although he possibly would have bunted that at the third baseman and tried to get him to run in full speed. And then with nobody covering third, Keller could have walked to third base. So Keller with a nice size lead at second. Nice breaking ball, just misses on the 1-2 pitch. I believe that was a slider that came at him with some nice good downward tilt. So you can see why Jacob Goldsmith is great frame for a pitcher too. He's tall and lanky, probably 6'1", 6'1.5", maybe 160, 170. You can see where he's going to grow into that body and shoulders. He's going to step off. 2-2 count, and Joe Burnley in the on-deck circle for St. Louis Park. We mentioned Joey Jaramillo is at the plate. Joey with that open stance for the junior right-handed shortstop. High fastball goes right up in the kitchen, and he does get him for strike 3 there. Nicely executed fastball. Good miles per hour and velocity on that, and in a perfect location. Nicely done. That'll bring up the junior Joe Burnley for St. Louis Park. Joe, as we mentioned as well, off to a good start on the season. Joe 6 for 14 on the year with 3 doubles, and he's hitting at a robust .429 clip. Nice breaking ball to start things off. Little slider action coming at him. 0-1 getting ahead. These two might have run into each other through the Blizzard the last couple years, as Joe played full-time for the Blizzard the last 2 years, which is a traveling elite program for kids that really want to focus on playing. High fastball, just misses that time. Good MPH. Not sure, we don't have a jugs gun here today, but I'm thinking that's got to be 81, 82, somewhere in that range, if not even a tad higher at times. A couple of different body types there as the junior Danielson, with the big, strong, athletic build, makes his way out to talk to his senior right-hander. Birds are chirping here at Keller Park. No rain to speak of, but like normal, we have a lot of clouds and a lot of potential for rain, so we'll hope that everything can hold off for our doubleheader today. So, little check swing, and he did offer on that one, went a little too far. And that'll move the count to 1 ball and 1 strike on the junior Burnley. Jake Lucas-Savage, one of the senior captains, on deck for St. Louis Park. That ball thrown into center field, and Keller's going to reach third. So Keller with the single to start the inning, and then the benefactor of a couple of throwing errors by Irondale. I shouldn't say throwing errors, an error on the first baseman on the missed ball on the throwdown from Danielson, got Keller to second, and that ball just spun away and thrown into center field. So Keller at third with 1 out, and we'll see what the Orioles elect to do here. Any kind of ground ball as the infield is back, any kind of ground ball, I'm sure Coach Nunn will just send him. And there's a nice slider on the 1-2, and he's going to register a beautiful strikeout on that slider there. So nicely done. So 2 down, and that'll bring up the senior Lucas-Savage. Lucas-Savage on the year also off to a nice start, 4 for 12 on the year. He's got a double, 5 walks, good on-base percentage, knocked in a pair. Burnley had 7 RBIs, who just got out. He was second on the team to Kurt Greenbush in that category. Lucas-Savage, nice swing on the breaking ball there. Hard to simulate this inside, but you don't often see the hard slider at the high school level, let alone the fact that Goldsmith can control the fastball. He's going to go from the windup with a runner on third here. Nice breaking ball again there, well executed on the curve, looked like that time. So good take by Lucas-Savage, and the count will move ahead to 1-1. Jason Keller on third now with 2 outs. He just joined us, 1 run early in the top of the first for Irondale after a couple of hit batters. Nice hard fastball. That might even have pushed the 84, 85 mark on the gun. So good speed that time by Goldsmith. Lucas-Savage, the senior, is a 3-year starter in both baseball and in hockey for the Orioles. Will be graduating this spring. Good cut at that one, and going to push the count along to 2-2. Probably one of the best pitchers the Orioles have seen early on in the season. As we mentioned, with the terrible April weather again, the Orioles got 2 games in 2 weeks ago, and then last week got in 2, and then nothing this week, and we're on Friday today, so. Nice swing on the changeup away. Beautiful change down and away, and beautifully done as he strikes out the side there, coming back from giving up the single to start things. So after 1 complete here, a 1-0 Irondale over St. Louis Park. If you just joined us, our first home baseball game of the season with all the weather, St. Louis Park as well as Irondale have only got 4 and 5 games in. Nicely done as well by Goldsmith there, even with the throwing error to move Keller to third, and then the error by the first baseman. He didn't let that rattle him at all and kept firing strikes back. According to my St. Louis Park math here, I believe he only registered 15 pitches in the inning, and that was nicely done to strike out the side. So no runs and 1 hit for St. Louis Park. 1 run on 1 hit. And I love the graphic, Paul. I'm glad you pulled that out. I noticed that right away. Is it spring yet? I sent some graphics over to Paul a couple of weeks ago, and after last spring and this spring, for any baseball fan, you really have to wonder, right, Paul? So, and indeed it is spring, although we are at May 2nd. And one thing that is fascinating is the Minnesota State High School League requires that the regular season be completed by Tuesday, May 20th. Today's Friday, May 2nd, so the Orioles are going to have a doubleheader tonight. And then they have a doubleheader tomorrow morning on May 3rd against Armstrong and South. So 4 games in 24 hours for St. Louis Park. As some of the Ferrulli clan on hand to join us, and there'll be a lot of baseball being played in the next day. So make sure you check your gopark.org schedule for the updates on the new schedules and click on baseball. Nice fastball to start things off here against, it looks like Loken going to start things off for them. Take a look at the junior right-hander, Archie Olsen. Loken, the first baseman, number 26. Big, strong physical build for the senior, Josh. Slightly open stance. He's got that right foot right on the edge on the line, so he's really... And he lasers that one hard to third base. Another beautiful play by Lucas Savage, who unfortunately doesn't follow through on the throw as he kind of short-armed that, and Foltz had to come off the bag, so we're going to have to give that an E5 on the throw that time. Lucas Savage did a great job fielding that, but unfortunately, and blocking it, but unfortunately he really let up on the throw, and then I had to pull Foltz off. So an error is going to make the 8th place hitter Loken reach to start off the second, and that'll bring up number 6. The center fielder, Tony Grabowski, hitting in the 9-hole today. We'll probably see him in the second game as he's also a pitcher for Irondale. Kind of have 2 number 1 type starters here. Grabowski as well with that right foot really close on top of the plate. Open stance. Nicely executed pitch, just a tad low here. And Ben Bookie, who led things off, and the leadoff hitter is in the on-deck circle here for them, for the Knights. Nice breaking ball, going to get over by Olsen that time. Nicely executed. So that'll push the count to a ball and 2 strikes as the junior right-hander going to stop and look. Try to hold Loken on at first there. That one right up the middle, hit softly, but it's going to get through for a clean single. I thought for a second Borderwick might reach that, but it was perfect placement as I just got by Olsen's glove. And the 8-9 hitters reach here to start the top of the second to set the table, and that is going to bring the top of the order in Ben Bookie, who popped up to second. As you see that ball just scoot right between Jaramillo and Borderwick up the middle. So Orioles with talking about their 1-2 defense. Infield corners race in here as Foltz and Lucas Savage up on the grass, expecting the bunt from the leadoff hitter here. Nice job on this, on the fastball to start things off. Might be throwing a 2-seamer there. He's got a lot of natural movement right to left. With a handle of, however Archie's holding that ball, it's getting right to left movement with fastball type speed. So that one peeled foul. So we'll see what Coach Nunn does, as he had Foltz and Lucas Savage up on the grass, but now with an 0-2 count, he might have him push back defensively here. Indeed, he does have Foltz go behind the runner, moves Lucas Savage back as well. 0-2 count to Bookie, who popped to second to lead off the game. Nice curveball, just misses by a tad that time. Boy, I think that was middle of the plate, but maybe just a little low on that one. So nice pitch for 0-2. Take a look at Olsen, the right-hander, going to look in. A little high fastball there on his 2-seamer. Kind of run to 2-2 here. It's nice having the monitor here to kind of track back here. Nice camera work so far by our crack staff here. So 2-2 delivery up and in. He's going to fight that off, and it's going to fall into center field. So nice piece of hitting with 2 strikes. As nicely executed pitch by Olsen as he sawed him off on the inside half. But the junior Bookie able to fight that off and push it into center field for a single. And that'll load the bases and bring up the number 2 hitter, Noah Espeseth, the senior who hit that nice ground ball hard to Lucas Savage, who made the nice play at third last inning on the diving effort. So sacks full of Knights. Nobody out here in the second, and we'll see how Olsen deals with the adversity here. Coach Nunn going to have the infield corners play up, middle infield back at double play position. So Foltz in on the grass along with Lucas Savage. Lucas Savage looking over, conversing with Loken at third. I'm not sure if they're good friends or how they know each other, but here comes Espeseth. High fastball to start him off, so 1-0 here. Olsen going to go from the windup with nobody out here and runners filling the bases for Irondale. That one hit hard and it's going to fall through. Nice stop by Jaramillo, but that's going to be an infield single. It was a nice work by Jaramillo, just able to block that. But that's going to be an RBI single for Espeseth on the single to deep short. Nice work by Jaramillo to hold that. But that's going to plate Loken with this first run of the inning and second run of the game, and move Grabowski over to third and Bookie down to second. And I'll bring up Ben Danielson, the catcher, who was hit by the 0-2 pitch on the elbow and came around to score the first run of the game in the first inning. Third place hitter for them. Gonna fire high and wide on that offering. So sacks still full as we had an error and 3 singles to start the inning this time. I would say the second single, the Ben Bookie single into short center, was probably the best piece of hitting as he had to fight off the Olsen delivery there. And that's going to hit him as well, up and in, and played another run. So third hit batter of the game so far, and that's going to be an RBI for Danielson as it moves Grabowski crosses home plate with the second run of the inning. Bookie down to third, Espeseth to second, and Danielson credited with an RBI as well. And he's got to be frustrated, even though he's reached base twice. He's going to be replaced by a courtesy runner as well this time, as number 12, Jared Brenny. Brenny now running at first base for the catcher Danielson. That'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Jake Marjanovic. Number 4. Looks like Archie tries to operate and work that inside half and just missed inside. Nicely done on the outside half there for a ball and a strike. Archie building his pitch count up as well. I had him unofficially at 31 pitches in the first inning, and he's moved to a 2-1 count this time to Marjanovic, the cleanup hitter. Nicely done up and away that time, so that'll push it to 2-2 here. See if Archie can fight back as he did in the first inning when he did run into some bases loaded trouble and was able to only allow 1 run. 2-2 pitch, an important one here. That one sawed off as well. Inner half, nice catch done by Jaramillo. Possible, nicely done by Joey as he caught that ball and tried to throw back to double off the pinch runner who had strayed too far from first base. So nicely executed pitch, even though that might have appeared to be a clean, hard line drive. He sawed him off a little bit on the inner half, and Jaramillo ranging to his left with the catch. If he would have noticed immediately that the runner had taken off with the pitch from first, they would have been able to execute a nicely done double play. So first out of the inning recorded on that. Sack still full, and that'll bring up Livengood, who recorded the first hit of the game in the first inning for Irondale. This is Kyle Livengood, the junior. Open stance. Nice hook that time. Looked like he might have gone to the 2-seamer or almost a slider that time. Hard for me to tell. But he does work ahead 0-2 here, so we'll see what Archie does. 1 down. You still got the infield the corners up. Middle infield back at double play depth. That breaking ball going to come high, and that's okay. 1 ball, 2 strikes is the count. On the juniors, Archie Olsen going to toe the slab here. See what he executes up 1-2 at Nordstrom Flassers for him. Up and in, a nice, beautiful location for a fastball, by the way. When you're up early 1-2 like that, he could have really created he would have really slowed down his bat if he would have offered at that, and definitely not been able to catch up to the up and in fastball. So 2-2 now the count. 1 out still. Ooh, nicely done that time by Living Good. Tip of the hat back right at him as he fouled off that 2-2 fastball that was headed high. We're joined by Kenny Ferruli's sister Kylie here today. She's here to watch, and hopefully her junior brother will get a chance to pitch either today or tomorrow too. I'm sure he's excited to go. So that'll make it a full count, and we'll see what happens here. Full count, 1 out. Living Good, who we mentioned earlier, did single in his first plate appearance. Archie going to take a hard look at Nordstrom. Right there, a beautiful strike 3 fastball right at the knees, beautifully executed. Perfect time to deliver the strike, and for Living Good, a little frustration that he didn't even swing the bat with the 2 strikes there, but he did foul a couple nice off, and that'll bring up Michael Beath, as we mentioned, also one of the quality players in the Knights lineup. Beath goes for the high fastball early on, 0-1. So Olsen, even though it's 3-0 right now, if he can get this batter here and keep it at 3-0, considering some of the early damage, he'd have to be thrilled with his competitiveness here. Nice hook that time, just a tad high. That'll push the count to 1-1 on Beath. Scotty Black on deck. Beath, another one of those seniors for Irondale. We mentioned they start 6 of them. 6 seniors out of their 9. And we mentioned last week they had a 13-0 and a 12-0 win over Fridley and Park Center, and a good Park Center team this year. So that's going to be up and away and push the count to 2-1. If Archie building his pitch count up here early on, but if he can somehow get back and get out of this and keep it at 3, you got to feel that he's got to feel excellent about his effort. There he does nicely execute the hard fastball, and that'll push it to 2-2. So Beath going to get a chance here. 2-2, 2 down, 2 runs in so far, but sacks are full of Knights. Archie going to try to clean his spikes a little bit, as there's a lot of mud still on the clay with all the water and rain we've had for 5-6 straight days. So, saws him off, and that's just a little chopper to Jaramillo, who just runs to second and causes the force center. All things considered, really a nice job by Jaramillo, by Olsen, able to come back and get the last 3 on a pop to third, a strikeout, and then a sawed off Beath on a ground ball to short. So 2 runs do score that inning for Irondale, and they did have 3 hits. So 2 runs on 3 hits. So 3 runs on 4 hits through 1.5 innings here for the Knights. But all things considered, considering where Archie was early in that inning, he's got to feel really good that he battled back and kept fighting. And most importantly, with quality pitching that the Orioles are facing today, every run is just so imperative. So they've got to try to scratch and claw themselves as we enter the bottom of the second inning. I'm sorry, go ahead. What was that, Paul? Correct. There are 2 errors on Irondale in the first inning on the throwdown from catcher to first base. The first baseman dropped it, and then the pitcher threw the ball into center field. So 1 error for Park and 2 errors for Irondale. Too bad that inning too on the. I know Lucas Savage just made a fantastic play on the ball that popped up, and unfortunately he didn't follow through like he could have on the throw over to first. So those runs both are unearned that Irondale scored because of the error. So, and that does happen sometimes. So the error to start the top of the second, and that gentleman Josh Loken came around to score, as did Grabowski with their second and third runs of the game. So it'll bring up Kurt Greenbush leading the Metro in hitting with a .733 batting average, 11 out of 15, home run, a triple, 3 doubles, 10 RBIs, all in 4 games for the senior Greenbush. And that one's hit high. Are you going to hold that on the infield there? He was ready for the fastball, but he just got under it a tad and popped it up. So Greenbush with a pop to second to start things off here in the second inning. And that'll bring up today's hurler, a man who deserves some water in between innings, Archie Olsen, the junior. Olsen, a right-handed pitcher, but he's a big, strong left-handed stroker who plays a lot of first base for Park as well. Can play third base as well, slightly open stance. That one check swing, and that's going to fall into what is a mess out in left field with all that water. And that's really a shame, too. That's something hopefully the city will be able to address with the work being done here at Keller. Even though we haven't had any rain for a day, it's literally a standing water fest out there in parts of the outfield. But R.C. Olson's check swing hits the left field area, or what we might want to call Keller Swamp today in St. Louis Park. So a nice check swing single for Olson, and he'll be on here with 1 out. And that'll bring up Danny Foltz, the senior first baseman, number 10. Also a left-handed thrower, right-handed hitter. You don't often see that. That one to the backstop, and Olson has a courtesy runner in for him, and that courtesy runner breaks down to second base for St. Louis Park. That's Elliott Slade running, so Slade running. So Olson with a check swing single. Now he's Elliott Slade down at second on the wild pitch. And let's see if Danny Foltz can move him around. 1-0 count on the senior Foltz, whose older brother Scott Foltz is a star baseball player for the McAllister College team as a junior over there. Nice. Danny's mom, Elizabeth, done a nice job for years serving the St. Louis Park Football Association and St. Louis Park Baseball Program, and helped start the Dugout Club here at St. Louis Park High School, which helps supports what we do to raise money for these kids so they can get new uniforms and different things that the coaches need. And there's another wild pitch. Slade didn't get a good break, and he's got to move to third, and he's almost out, but he does make it successfully. I don't think Slade read that ball was at the backstop right away, but another wild pitch by Goldsmith. And now any kind of contact should be able to bring him in. 2-1 count to the senior Foltz, sporting the New Balance spikes. A lot of guys with those New Balance spikes, it looks like nowadays. That fastball chopped hard to first. Oh, a little bobble. Going to bring the run in. The out's going to be registered, but good contact on the play by Foltz. And the 2 wild pitches are going to create the opportunity for a run batted in for Danny Foltz, as the 3 unassisted is credited, but he gets the RBI by making contact. And really, most importantly for St. Louis Park, after giving up the 2 spot in the top of the second, they come right back and get a run here. So good contact by the senior Foltz, and that'll bring up the catcher Kyle Nordstrom. Nordstrom on the year, as we mentioned, really was just a kind of a varsity reserve last year, got a handful of appearances. Hasn't had a chance to do an enormous amount of hitting, but he is 2 for 7 on the season. He does have 3 walks and 3 RBI, so Kyle has definitely come through from his backstop spot, as well as calling most of the action behind there. So there's a nice job framing on a corner, and a beautifully executed 1-2-3 at bat, and that'll be strike 3 registered and 3 outs. But the Orioles are able to plate one, and they do register a hit in the inning, so very efficient. The Orioles do get the hit on the check swing by Olson, and then Elliott Slade comes around to score Park's first run. I don't know, Paul, if we can step away for just a minute, but after 2 innings, it's we're not ready. Okay, 3-1 Irondale after 2. I'm not sure what kind of pitch count the junior Archie Olson's on for St. Louis Park. We mentioned that Archie threw 31 pitches unofficially in the first inning. I'm just going to do quick tabulating here as you take a look at some of the volunteers that were recognized. That's Paul Broden, our director, on the right. Misty Lewis, the head camera person, on the left. I wish Misty got a chance to see that. And there's my long good friend Bruce Hoberman on the left. 35 years being a volunteer here with Park 16. Paul, I know you've known Bruce for a lot of years, and I did a game with him in 1980. If any of you people watching this game want to know how you might be able to volunteer to either announce or even on occasion help with camera, I know there's really a need to get a stable of a few quality volunteers that might want to, announce volleyball, football, softball, baseball. There's a lot of events that we cover, soccer. And then I also wanted to throw a shout out, Paul. This might be the time to do it. We don't have a picture of him, I don't think, in here. But somebody that both Misty and Paul know well, Damian McManus, whose son Evan and himself just passed away out in Colorado. He was a volunteer for us here at Park 16 and did a lot of color work with Ira Gerwitz for soccer. So it's a big loss to Park 16 family as well, and our hearts go out to the McManuses because they really meant a lot to the city. And it's been a rough couple years with all the losses in the park that have been well documented. But glad you had that graphic, Paul. That really added to the broadcast. So it's been a pleasure to work with you and Misty the last 5 years. Hard hit to short. Jaramillo going to stay down on it. Nicely executed defensively. And Jaramillo, who's really got a great glove for the Orioles, does a nice job on the 6-3 put out. That is going to retire Scotty Black to start the top of the third inning here. And just what Archie Olsen needed, a one-pitch out to start things. And that'll bring up number 26, Josh Loken, who led off last inning, hitting the hard ground ball to third that Lucas Savage made the good play on, then the erroneous throw, and he ended up coming around to score the first run of the inning. So Loken batting 8th in the order for them. Looks like Nordstrom going to have a visit with tonight's home plate umpire. I didn't catch the name of the gentleman and our two-man crew who are umping today, but he's going to relay something to Archie, perhaps something about going to his mouth. Obviously, not sure exactly what he's doing, but usually the umpire has to communicate that to the catcher and to the pitcher if there's something he noticed that he wants the pitcher to correct in terms of maybe not stopping completely, although he's in the windup right now, so I'm not sure what that was. So one down, little 1-0 count here to Josh Loken here, top of the third inning, North Suburban matchup, Irondale in St. Louis Park. That one up the ladder a little bit. Nice job by Loken just to get the quick bat around. Pushes the count to 2 balls and a strike. As we did mention, big, strong legs on Josh Loken, who's built similarly to the catcher Ben Danielson for them. Don't have stats for any of the hitters for Irondale, but in the first 5 games, they outscored their opponents by, get this, 47-15. 47-15 in their first 5 games, of which the 2 losses were to Benilde and to Tino in close competitive games. Just misses low on that, and that'll push the count to 3-1 here on Loken. That one just a routine fly ball to center field. Got quite a bit of it, but really got under it, and Burnley going to squeeze that for the second out of the third inning. So nice contact by Loken. He just popped it up. Bring up the number 9 hitter, Josh Grabowski, who singled in his last at bat and came around to score the 3rd run of the game. The probable starting pitcher for game 2, Grabowski going on to North Iowa Area Community College to continue his pitching career next year. And as we mentioned earlier, a big part of Adam Barda's Blizzard program that has had several St. Louis Park players be part of it as well. So through the Minnesota Baseball Academy. So that one just misses to the senior Grabowski. These teams kind of a little bit opposite in that Grabowski and Goldsmith, Beese, and Loken. Senior dominated with 6 seniors. That one's going to be shot out to right field. Oh, tough read on it, and Keller able to lose. He lost his footing momentarily, and with the wet grass out there, luckily was able to get his spikes to hold and retreat a couple feet to squeeze that. Nice hard hit by Grabowski, and then you should take a look at it. The field is definitely a possibility of being a big contributor in today's outcome because, as we mentioned earlier, a few $100,000 worth of renovations are finally occurring at Derrick Keller Field after almost 40 years. The city has finally worked through the Baseball Association and seen all the problems that have taken place in the outfield with drainage here. And several city council people, including Steve Holfin and others, are to be commended to work with Rick Bino and the crew at the Parks Department. And come mid-July, this field's going to be torn up. And by next spring, we should have none of the long-term drainage issues that have always been a constant problem here at Dakota Park. I graduated in '83, and even back in the early '80s, anytime there'd be water, it would take, any kind of rain, it would take several days for there to be drainage. And you already witnessed how much moisture is out in left field. There's a lot of it standing out in right. And it's been dry all day today. And even though we've had a lot of rain this week, most fields would be able to absorb that after a summer or after a winter and spring of not a lot of, well, not a terrible amount of moisture till recently. But there you take a look at somebody walking their dog down here at Dakota. This field was renamed Derrick Keller Field at Dakota Park after the passing of 2011 Oriole All-Star shortstop Derrick Keller, and really nice to be able to bring you these games and have the modern scoreboard working out there in left field. So leading it off for the Orioles here in the bottom of the third inning. This will be number 17 for them. This is only sophomore on the varsity, Patrick Borderwick. Patrick's older brother Jack was a key member of the Park team in 2010 and 11. That takes that for a ball and a strike. Cruising right along through 2 innings. Only giving up the 2 hits is the senior right-hander Jacob Goldsmith. Goldsmith again, not a lot of pitches early on in the game. Does a nice job right on that outer half, and that'll push the count to a ball and 2 strikes. This is the number 9 hitter in the order, and leadoff hitter Jason Keller is in the on-deck circle. Keller with one of only 2 hits on the game. Nice job spoiling that one by Borderwick. Borderwick also another one of the kids. Almost all the players in St. Louis Park are at least 2-sport athletes, if not 3. I know T.J. Rempfer, great goaltender on the soccer team, hockey player. Borderwick, a nice season as a sophomore on the hockey team as well. Nice breaking ball. Gonna drop the hammer on that and hit it low. So 2-2 is the count. Just frames that outer half. Just paints with a heater, and that's strikeout number 5 here. And you got to be ready. Tons of strikes are being thrown. He hasn't walked anyone through 2 1/3, and after striking out the side in the first inning, here's Keller again with 1 out. Keller with that nice clean single to right field for the junior Jason Keller to start the game. He did move all the way over to third and was stranded there in the first inning. There's another clean single to first base. Keller ready for those fastballs. And you see the water out in right field, and we're going to need another baseball. A lot of standing water out there, boy. Another baseball going to be needed, and I think we're going to go through another one. Anytime the ball hits the water, we got new balls coming in play today. So, and I know that was one of the things the umpires had to talk to the coaches about, making sure the kids threw their hands up if the ball got stuck out there. So 1 out single for Keller, and he's 2 for 2 on the day, and that'll bring up Joey Jaramillo, the shortstop. Joey, a strikeout victim in the first inning. Tries to chases that slider and misses that for an 0-1 count. So definitely tough competition for the Orioles today, as they're going to see the G&G boys, Goldsmith and Grabowski, on the hill more than likely. Goldsmith 0-1 count, just going to frame it again right on that outside half. Just took a little bit off that fastball. And my St. Louis Park math in the first inning had him only throwing, I believe he threw 7 balls, and then second inning he really came back and hardly threw any ball. I think he only threw 1 ball in the second inning. So right there on the corner, you can tell he just rings him up for strike 3 looking, and Joey didn't know what was coming there. So 2 down, second strikeout of the inning, and I believe that's the 6th of the game. And here's the number 3 hitter, Joe Burnley. Good competition for Park to face, but tough when you haven't seen any opponent for an entire week, and then to face a guy who's on top of his game now in Goldsmith. So Burnley a little long on that swing, and behind that one, 0-1 for the junior Joe Burnley. One of the faster guys in the Orioles. I believe he ran a 6.78 60 at one of the combines this winter for the baseball showcases. He and Lucas Savage really the only holdovers on this team from 2 years ago when Aaron McEachran was still the head coach. The ball thrown wildly to the pitcher. Burnley saw some time as a freshman on the varsity, did a little bit of pitching even as a 9th grader, and then definitely a pinch runner. Got a lot of instruction by McEachran that freshman year, and then really an excellent defensive center fielder as well. So High fastball just misses, 2-1. Like I said, it's going to be 83, 84, something like that on the fastball. It's hard to judge exactly, but he's got plenty of nice, tall, lanky build, what you like to see if you're looking at a high school pitcher, a kid who you can what you call project well. He's going to add miles per hour to his fastball as he fills out some. And even though his legs aren't tremendously big at this point, he's got a lot of strength on him, and a real wiry delivery creates a lot of velocity, and he's got good movement. So nice close stance. Good hold, just misses on the outer half, and that was a nice take by Burnley there, as he's able to coax the free ride with 2 out here. That'll push Keller down to second base, and Jake Lucas-Savage, the senior third baseman, who went down on strikes in the first inning, will play as well here. Luca, about 6'1", 200 pounds for the senior Lucas-Savage, also a third-year varsity player. We mentioned it was just him and Burnley, really, the holdovers from 2 years ago. Kurt Greenbush saw some service, as did Danny Foltz, so just a cup of coffee as 10th graders, but that was a talented bunch the last 5-6 years that have come through the St. Louis Park program. So nice change-up, curveball hit to right field. Tough area out there, but the center fielder going to corral that. Luca kept his hands back, and unfortunately for him, just got under it a tad, as he did make good contact and hit a medium deep fly to right center field. And that's going to that'll close the book on the third inning here, as the Orioles with no runs on 1 hit and 2 left. Another Jason Keller single, and after 3 complete here, 3-1 Irondale. Don't know, Paulie, if we're ready to step away. Yeah, we're going to step away just for a moment here on 16. So stick with us here for North Suburban Baseball, first game of the year on Park 16. Do you watch some of the games on cable? Have you ever over the years? Or? Exactly. All right, we are back here at St. Louis Park for the top of the 4th inning. 3-1 your score, and the junior Olsen going to remain in there for St. Louis Park as he starts off the top of the 4th inning with strike 1. On the top of the order, Ben Bookie leading it off. Bookie's 3rd at bat already here. He's 1 for 2, and he's going to chop that to Jaramillo. Joey stays back on that nicely. High throw, and even a better a beautiful stretch by Danny Foltz, who went up the ladder, used all 5'10" of his frame and went up the ladder. I don't know if we have that on replay. Joey did a great job staying back on that, not getting caught in the hop, but then his throw was high, and look at the play there to keep his foot on the bag. That was reminiscent of a big league play, and I'm being serious there. That was big time. So nice job by Danny Foltz to retire the leadoff hitter, Ben Bookie. And then it'll bring up Espeseth, who pulls his head as Archie changes up with a breaking ball there. Starts, instead of throwing a fastball to start things off, he threw him a curveball. And that'll push the count to 0-1 here. Espeseth 1 for 2 with a single. And then he was robbed in the first inning on that great play by Lucas-Savage. He could easily be 2 for 2. He's the hits in the 2-hole. Kind of grimaces in frustration as he's down 0-2 in the count here. Even though it is 3-1, I think Park's got to feel fortunate, and Irondale a little frustrated that they weren't able to tack on more in the second inning when they had breaking ball, and that's hammered to left field way over the head, and that's going to be deep past Rempfer all the way to the fence. Espeseth at least with 2, and he's going to stick there. As a nice job on the cut play. That ball was just raked into left field on the 0-2. Don't know if we have the replay of that, but that was a laser to left field. Just a line shot. even if Remfer would have had a correct angle on that ball, he never would have made that play because that ball was way over his head quickly. So used his speed to get it in and hold him to a 1-out double there. And that'll bring up Danielson, who's been hit by a pitch twice and probably itching to come around and play. He's only seen 3 pitches, and 2 of them have hit him through the first 2 at bats. So third place hitter for them, big, strongly built junior. Big body. He must be a football player, maybe a lineman, I'm assuming, for them. And there's the 2-seam fastball. Gets ahead early, 0-1. So 1 down, top of the 4th inning here at Keller. North Suburban battle. Archie Olsen looking in again at Nordstrom. Nice break, and Little just took a tad off that. Almost not really a change, but maybe a 2-seamer. You got a 2-seam and a 4-seam fastball, folks. 4-seam ball going to come in a lot straighter, maybe a little easier to see, easier to control, but a 2-seamer is going to break a little right to left, usually from a right-handed batter. Maybe not exactly the exact velocity, but so 0-2 the count here on Danielson. That one just chopped right to Jeremill, a Baltimore chop. Joey plenty of time from short, but he dropped that unfortunately. And Danielson get a reach. Might have been a tough play because it was really a Baltimore chop. Joey did a nice job charging on that play, but it looked like on the transfer there, you see how high that is. Wow. With all the rain, he tried to backhand that, and he twisted his glove just a tad instead of coming in clean on it. So we've got an error on the shortstop, an error. We're going to have to give that an error, Paul. And that ball just peeled foul. So we'll see here with 1 out how Archie can respond here as he gives up the double and then the chopper to short for an error. So first and third, 1 out. We'll see what kind of defense. Another courtesy runner again, just like last time. Danielson's on for the 3rd time of the game, but he's being courtesy ran for, and that's number 28, Isaac Ackerman, running over at first base. So first and third, 1 down. We'll see what kind of defense the Orioles play here if they try anything, and a nicely executed 0-1 pitch. So Archie up 0-2 in the count here. First and third defenses are being called out by Coach Nunn here. See what happens if the guy from first breaks, if you throw through, if you fake throw, if you throw behind the runner at third. That one chopped to third. Luca going to try to look him back. Then the throw to first, out registered and nicely done. 5-3 on the putout, and unfortunately, if you're a Knights fan, Noah Espeseth really not sure, and understandably so, what to do there because the ball was hit so soft to Luca Savage, and if you notice, he's kind of hung up there. Luca follow through on the throw, make sure he gets the out, and then Danny Fultz pounces off the bag after he makes the catch to make sure that Espeseth isn't going to go anywhere. So nice job again by Fultz on that play defensively. Up the ladder here, Danielson's courtesy runner Ackerman down at second now. So second and third, 2 outs, top of the 4th inning. 5th place hitter Livingood, who's 1 for 2 single, and he went down looking last inning for strike 3. Nice breaking ball, works ahead there, ball and a strike. So ball and a strike. Livingood didn't pull the trigger on the full count pitch in the 2nd inning, and he went down after fouling off a few good ones. That one again with a slow curve that time, 1-2, and we'll see how Archie mixes things up here. He's got first base open, and he's got a lot of options. He can challenge, he can go up the ladder, he can bust him inside. We'll see what he does. And indeed, he wanted to go up and in. Now, that was strange. Livingood's all mad that he hit him, but obviously it was not the intent of the pitch. But Livingood reaches on a 1-2 hit batter, the 4th hit batter of the game. And not what Archie... Livingood might have got that one in the ribs, and he was upset, probably more in pain than anything, understandably. Wanted to hit and didn't want to be hit by a batter. So that'll bring up the 6th place hitter, Michael Beath, who officially 0 for 1 on the day. He walked, and he also was retired on a chopper to shortstop last time. So 0 for 1 officially. Bases full. Archie's had a chance to work on getting his pitch count up. He's well over 100 at this point, and or I believe he's somewhere around 100, I should say. We'll count it up after. Here's Beeth, 1-0, bases full, 2-0. This is where Archie's really going to have to bear down here, and the coaches are talking as Archie's still early on in the season. He's only pitched 2 games, so he hasn't had a chance to really hone his craft yet. Right down the middle there, so 2-1. Archie, one nice thing about when you get second and third or a man on third or even bases loaded, sometimes you go back to that windup, a little more comfort level, get a more drive with your legs, get a good clean look at the catcher and the signal. That one peeled foul, so Archie working back from being down 2-0 in the count. Now it's 2-2 to Beeth. As we mentioned, this young man, Michael Beeth, going to St. Mary's to play baseball, so he's definitely a talented young man, hitting 6th in the Knights order. 2-2, 2 outs, bases full of Knights again. Tries to take time, but he's not allowed it. And that breaking ball, he's waved at it. So what bad piece of bad luck that time by Beeth, who wanted the late time, was not allowed it. And Archie executed a beautiful curveball to ring him up to end the 4th inning. And no runs that time as well. And what was a beautiful line shot double by Noah Espeseth with 1 out. And Espeseth is stranded at 3rd, Danielson at 2nd, and Livengood at 1st. So Orioles able to keep it at 3-1. We're halfway through the game here as we enter the bottom of the 4th inning. And Coach Nunn, just in his 2nd year with the Park program, Jim Nunn came over, a longtime head baseball coach at Minnetonka High School, where he is still a teacher at Minnetonka, as he's visiting with the umpires there down the first baseline. I don't know, Paul, if you can get Missy to zoom in, but that's Jim Nunn visiting with this veteran umpiring crew. Jim, as we mentioned, 27 years as a baseball coach. He, to take a look at Jim there, not only was he head varsity coach at Minnetonka for years, but he played at Concordia, St. Paul. And then when they went to Division II, he was their head coach for a lot of years. So he's certainly been around the block a lot and does a lot of scouting and watches a lot of other high school teams play. And he's got a veteran staff in Tom Spaeth and Danny Bissonette, of course, who's a 2003 Park grad, who's in his, I believe, 5th year or 6th year now on the Park coaching staff. He's been through his staff for 2 years, and he was with Aaron McEachran for 2 years. I think he was with Chad Austed for a year. So Tom Spaeth, a veteran coach as well. Kurt Greenbush going to lead things off here in the bottom of the 4th. For Greenbush, he just missed one as he popped up to second to lead off the 2nd inning, and we'll see how things go here in the bottom of the 4th. Here's a strike on Greenbush. Oh. Nice. Kurt loves a challenge, as a lot of these guys do, so I'm sure he's enjoying facing a quality pitcher. Does a nice take on that high fastball, and that'll move the count to 1-1. These guys are just chomping at the bit to see a lot of good live competition and get themselves ready for the last few weeks of the season. Good take on that one. I believe he didn't go, and no, he didn't. It was a nice take on that slow curve. And he held up. Nicely executed pitch, by the way. You know, Greenbush has been hitting well and try to prey on some of his aggressiveness. That fastball just going to be peeled foul out of time. 2-2 the count. No walks so far in the game for Goldsmith on the hill. And as I mentioned, he has 6 strikeouts through 3 innings, so trying to add to that total. 2-2 the count to the senior. That peeled foul. So what you have is Greenbush, Olson, and Fultz to lead off the bottom of the 4th. Of course, high school baseball games are 7 innings in nature. So four more cracks for the Orioles to try to battle back on Irondale here. Nice take on that time by Kurt, and he's going to work the count full. He's got Kurt, as we mentioned, also one of the captains of the Park hockey team. Earned 3 letters in hockey. I believe this will be his 3rd year lettering in baseball. Oh, just missed that one. That was high. Didn't get full nicely hit high towards center field, and that's a warning track shot about 315 feet. So little under it, but he's got the full count fastball and just a little under it. So that'll bring up Archie Olson, who has one of 3 park hits on the game. Archie came around, well, actually with a check swing single to left field that hit the swamp out in left field. There you see them running that down in center. Avoiding all the water out there. I don't know if we have the replay of that again, but Archie just a little checks it up on the fastball, but they said that he ticked it, so high fastball going to record strike 1 on the junior Olson. Love that open stance for the big slugger. He's also clubbing at a great rate for St. Louis Park. That one just misses a tad. I believe Archie coming into this game, if I'm mistaken, besides Kurt, 11 for 15, Archie was 5 for 8 in the first 4 games, and he had a pair of walks as well. So 625 average coming into the game. Just peels that off, and he's officially 1 for 1 in this game. So you don't often get to raise your average from 625, but indeed he did do that in the first inning, or first at bat. So 0-2 the count. We'll see what Goldsmith, who can throw anything here, uses. Just down and in, and he frames him on the down and in, inside corner fastball, down and in, and that was a beautifully executed pitch. Tip your hat again to Goldsmith. He looks like he is in mid-season form with 7 Ks, and that'll bring up Danny Foltz, who's had a real. Yeah, here's the outfield on that deep fly. I don't just want to have everybody watch the left fielder here as he's trudging through water the whole time. And that gives you an idea. That one hit towards second base and just going to eke through past the second baseman, and Danny Foltz going to register a hit. His first of the game. He knocked in a run last at bat with a nice piece of hitting on a ground ball to first base. And Foltz going to reach with 2 outs here for the senior playing first base. And that'll bring up the catcher, Kyle Nordstrom. Nordstrom went down looking in the first inning. Out of the 7 Ks that have been registered, 1, 2, 3, the last 4, this is interesting, have all been looking. So he's obviously mixing up his pitches so well that the guys don't have any clue what he's going to execute at what time with 2 strikes. There's a high fastball to get things started. Just gets right by Nordstrom. So 0-1 on the junior Nordstrom. Yeah, you can't simulate this speed and these variety of pitches off of an indoor mound unless you're literally bringing in a college pitcher and or a one of your regulars is throwing a regular. So 2 down, Danny Foltz at first. 3-1 is your score here, bottom of the 4th inning. We mentioned Goldsmith committed to St. Mary's, the pitcher, earlier here. Had a nice visit with Adam Barta about Goldsmith and Grabowski as pitchers because they both have some possibilities long term, and Adam really likes their body size and the variety of pitches they throw, and especially I know I haven't seen Grabowski, but I can see why he likes his body type and the tall, lanky delivery. There's a nice slider there. Yeah, so that was a swing and miss on strike 3. Swing and miss, and the reason he ran down was the drop strike 3. So that'll be the, I believe, 8th strikeout of the game so far. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I apologize. That's only the 7th strikeout of the game. But he gets Nordstrom on strike swinging, and that'll leave Danny Foltz at 3rd. So through 4 innings, as you take a look at the water tower, as something has come out that hasn't been out for weeks. The sun is out, and it's reflecting off the top of the water tower. Has anyone seen the sun? I don't know if we have. It might only be out for a few minutes, but it's beaming down on us here at Keller Field on this Friday night. It's the sun. The sun has arrived as our home plate umpire, who is got to be a happy man. I don't know what your name is, sir, but we'd like to. What is it, Mr. Kovalov? Mr. Kovalov behind the plate is making sure he's going to douse himself in that sunshine for 60 seconds at least. So. Got to be nice for our crack camera crew on top of the 3rd base dugout for them just to get a little sun. And it's not going to dry. As we got a new pitcher for St. Louis Park, not a surprise, the junior right-hander, Kenny Ferrulli, going to kind of step on in here. As Archie Olson did really yeoman's work through 4 innings for Olson. You just have to tip your hat to Archie. He battled early on. He never said die, and he had so many situations where the game really could have got away from him in the second inning, especially where the first 5 hitters reached, 2 came in, but then he got the number 4, 5, and 6 hitters on a pop-up, a strikeout, and a chopper to short to keep the game at 3-1. And then in the third and fourth inning, a 1-2-3 inning, in the fourth inning, he worked around another bases loaded scenario, and now he turns the ball over to the junior Kenny Ferrulli. A lot of these young men had the privilege this winter of working in a small group program with Mike Olson outside of the school, and Mike is Archie's father, who was a 1980 star pitcher at St. Louis Park. Mike is probably the best pitcher ever from the state of Minnesota in high school. He was a second-round pick of the Kansas City Royals out of Park in 1980, threw in the upper 90s and made it all the way to Double-A before he had shoulder problems that caused the end of his career. So here's Kenny Ferrulli. This is Kenny's second outing of the year. He's 1-0 on the year in 4 innings. He's given up 2 runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. So Kenny is one of the ones as well. There was about 6 of them that worked with Coach Olson, and Kenny, like Archie, is a big frame on the junior right-hander. Nicely done as he takes just a tad off of that. Just misses down low here. This is Scotty Black, number 10, now batting the DH. Scotty 0 for 2 officially on the game. Pop up to second and a ground out to short. Nicely done. Ferrulli had a nice outing last year as a sophomore. He came out of, and I believe through 5 or 6 innings of only 2 hit ball in one of the games against Columbia Heights. So even though he didn't get a lot of varsity experience last year, when he did, he had some success and he threw it over well. So here's Ferrulli, 3-1 the count to Black. Just misses down and away here. Kenny got the sunglasses on here. Maybe that's a good sign here as the sun's still out as he started. So does walk Black to start the inning here, and that'll bring up Loken, who is officially 0 for 2, has scored a run. So we'll get you the line on Archie Olson officially here. Looks like there's going to be a equipment change here as Kenny working his way over to take the chain off. It probably is necessary. You don't normally allow the pitcher to wear a chain if it's distracting. Josh Loken, as we mentioned, 0 for 2 at the dish. See the sun reflecting off the inside of our camera. How often have we had to think that, Paul? The sun is shining through here. Here's a nice little change of pace, fouled off. Mr. Grabowski, the home plate up with a nice job calling time. So Ferrulli going to work ahead of Loken here. Loken in the 8th place hitter. Grabowski 9. You want to work on these 2 guys especially here. Keep the game at a 2-run deficit. Give the Orioles a fighting chance the last 3 innings. Big legs on Loken, the senior. Ferrulli just going to step and throw over to Fultz. I think Danny Fultz has had a really underrated game for St. Louis Park. He had 2 great defensive plays. He knocked in the only run of the game with a great contact, and then he had a single last inning. And even on the second defensive play, when he popped off the bag on the throw from Lucas Savage over across the diamond, he popped off the bag quick enough to prevent the runner from third to even think about coming home. And then that catch he made on the high throw from Jaramillo was really beautiful. Big lead over at first base by Black. Huge lead. So good thing Ferrulli going to throw over there. Coach Spaeth and Coach Nunn especially are signaling in on occasion, signaling him the pitches and signaling in the throw-overs. Ferrulli. That one chopped to third. Lucas Savage will stay back on it. Fortunately for Luca, he's going to break to third as that ball hits off the side of his mitt. Jake kind of turned his body a tad and tried to field that off the side. And unfortunately for Ferrulli, when he tried to field that off the side of his glove, it ended up hitting his glove and went into left field, which allowed the runner to move to third. I don't know if we have that on replay here, but would have been a tough play anyway on the single. But Jake kind of olayed it off to the side of the mitt there, and unfortunately Loken's going to reach on that error, and Black's going to make his way over to third. Grabowski 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored. Chopped to short. We'll see what Jaramillo does. They're going to try to turn 2 here. Little 6-4 And a 3 on a beautiful stretch as well. Beautifully done by Foltz on the stretch. Borderwick on the throw. Nice soft feed by Jaramillo. Let's show that again. Even though the run scores there, a 6-4-3 put out, going to put the first 2 outs on the board. Do we have that, Paulie, on replay? Okay. Anyway, nicely done as that ball was chopped medium speed, and really probably no play to go home. As there you see the replay. Nice underhand flip, and then a nice turn as you see Borderwick stays in tight on the turn as the slide comes and delivers this throw to Foltz. So nice 6-4-3 double play. Oh, a nice breaking ball there. So Grabowski retired 6-4-3 on the double play. Black does come around to score. The run is going to be unearned because of the error at third base. And here's Ben Bookie. Change up, down and away, and that's strike 3, so that'll be it. So nice inning that time coming back by the junior Ferrulli. 1 run officially on no hits and nobody left. The run is unearned run. And because the error allowed the runner to get to third with 1 out. So that'll put us through 4.5 here. And as the sun continues to shine down on us here at Derrick Keller Field, we'll remind you that this is game 1 of a doubleheader. There's going to be another game right after this tonight. Hopefully we'll have sun till 8 or 9 o'clock tonight, I'm hoping. Even though the field itself has got a lot of water, they've got to get a doubleheader in tonight, and then St. Louis Park has another doubleheader tomorrow morning. As required by State High School League rules, all high school teams have to finish their regular season by Tuesday, May 20th. So sections can start on Thursday of that week. And in order to do that, schools like St. Louis Park normally play a 20-game regular season. Park's only played 4 games as of today. And the season was supposed to start on April 5th. So to give you an idea, that was 27 days ago. There you see Orange Power, the old Park logo. Paulie, you really did take advantage of all those graphics I sent to you a couple weeks ago. That's the old logo that they used to have at the high school for back in the 70s and 80s and on all the folders. There you see on the left, you see the, I always thought that was such a kind of a corny looking Oriole. It wasn't aggressive enough looking, but I don't know. They thought it was a good logo to put on all the folders they gave us in high school. I was on. Can you believe that, Paul? That was on all of our folders in high school. Well, to start off the home half of the bottom of the 5th here, you're going to have Patrick Borderwick up. Patrick leading it off for St. Louis Park. Nice job turning that double play there by the sophomore. He's officially 0 for 1 on the game. Little high fastball. As we mentioned, Goldsmith really on the top of his game. So 8 strikeouts officially through 4 innings. My St. Louis Park math tells me that's 8 Ks through 4 innings. That's 2 an inning. 8 divided by 4. We'll see, though. Even that's the case, it's still a 3-run game, and Park's got a shot here if we can get some runners. So that one going to be popped into right field, just with the water out there. A beautiful job by the right fielder as he had to avoid what is known as the right field swamp out there. And the right field swamp almost cost Noah Espeseth as he's got a wet jersey. But as we watch the replay, Espeseth, who lasered one to the left field wall earlier, runs hard the whole way and makes a diving catch in water. It's one thing to make a catch, but when you know you're going to get drenched, tremendous concentration on that. So nicely done for the first out of the inning. That one lined up the middle. Nice effort by the shortstop, but a nice Jason Keller keeps his hot day going as he goes after the first pitch again and gets a single up the middle this time. So the story of the game for Mr. Goldsmith is Jason Keller likes to hit first pitch strikes. He's got so here's Jaramillo, 0 for 2 with 2 Ks on the day. Joey did a nice job starting that double play last inning. Keller, big lead. So 1 down, Keller at first. Let's see if they can move him over again. The first inning he got all the way to third base on 2 errors, but the Orioles left him there as Goldsmith struck out the side. And that was probably one of the best, just a fantastic inning for Goldsmith. As we mentioned, Keller reaches on a single, goes to second on the very next pitch on an error by the first baseman. and then gets to third on an error by the pitcher as he makes an error himself, but then he strikes out the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for St. Louis Park to leave Keller at first, or third, excuse me. There's Goldsmith. The sun beaming off the camera. That's right above his right shoulder. Open stance for the junior Jaramillo, who's also doing some closing for St. Louis Park. That one shot into right center. That's going to be trouble. Backhanded, no grab though, and a nice piece of base running by Jason Keller. And he beats it to second, and luckily for the Orioles, that was a beautiful play. I hope we have that on camera. Espis has almost made a diving backhanded play there. Then even though he didn't make the play, Keller was far enough, fans. He was halfway, so when the rollover occurred, he hustled to get to second. If he would have been even a quarter inch, wow. If he would have been even a quarter inch closer, he might not have made that down to second. So first and second on the clean single to right center by Jaramillo, and we'll see if Burnley, the 3-hole hitter, who's officially 0 for 1, walked last time. Little breaking ball for strike one. St. Louis Park officially has got, I don't know if we have those 2 hits up on the board, but you got 3 hits from Keller. Jaramillo's got a knock. Archie Olsen with a single. Foltz with a knock. 6 hits officially now for Park into the 5th inning. Keller kind of trying to scare the middle infield combination that time as Marjanovic, a shortstop, as well as the second baseman Bookie, trying to keep him close. Marjanovic kind of trying to pinch behind him there. Fastball just a tad low, and Burnley, the junior, going to take that for a ball and a strike. Lucas Savage on deck, and then Greenbush in the hole here. 1 down in the 5th inning. Marjanovic kind of pinch behind Keller there, keep him close. Up the ladder with that fastball. Joe a little behind that one. 1-2 with the center fielder, Joe Burnley. That one up and away. Should mention too that the score may be a little deceiving in this game. The line score officially 4 runs, 5 hits, and 2 errors for Irondale, but both of those errors were in the first inning and nobody came around to score. Park's got, out of the 4 runs, 3 of them are unearned. So in theory, and on strike 3. Nice clean swing by Joe on that fastball. Just misses it, and that'll make it 2 outs. And Lucas Savage, who hit one to medium deep right center and also struck out in the first inning. So Jake, the senior, 0 for 2 on the day. Savage, strongly built senior. Oh, Goldsmith tries to frame on the corner. Good take by Lucas Savage. Luca on the year, we mentioned, I believe he had four for 12, 333 on the year with a double. Coming into the game. That one, he's going to pop that up and hope that blows out of play. And indeed it does. It gives him some new life. 1-1 count. As we mentioned, tough to really get a read on anything when you watch a game like this because neither of the teams have seen a lot of pitching. They haven't played an entire week. They haven't even been outside for 6 days. So this is the first day the teams have been outside, and now they're going to play 2 games tonight and then a twin bill tomorrow. So cram it all in as soon as you can. So we'll hope the field straight dries up by Monday. 1-1 to Luca. Marinovic goes behind, big hole on the left side. Tell you what, there as a hitter there, if he would have hung that breaking ball, the shortstop was standing on second base, the third baseman was guarding the line. Any kind of a chopper on the left side would have been an infield single if he would have hung that breaking ball just a tad, and pretty easy to pull. But Luca with a good take, and we're at 2-1 on the count with 2 down. Luca tried to take time, but not given to him as it was a late request. So 2-2 the count now. First and second with Keller at second and Jaramillo at first after their singles with 1 out. If you just joined us here, this is North Suburban action here on 16 conference matchup. Time accepted that time by Lucas Savage. Gonna take a deep breath, make sure he's got his DeMarini laid up the way he wants, slightly open stance. Breaking ball held low, throw back through, and they're gonna have a play at second. Whoa. Nice job by Danielson, the catcher, as he threw back through, and Keller was too deep off of the plate, and if it would have been a clean tag at a little higher on the throw, we might have had a play at second, but good aggressive grace starting by Keller, too. He wants to make sure he can score on a single or even on an infield single, potentially. Full count, runners will be off with the pitch. Runners off with the pitch. That one hit hard towards shortstop. Going to go through. Keller going to score for sure. The second run of the game. Here comes the throw. Nobody covering third base. And the Lucas Savage breaking to second. He's going to hit second. So just what the doctor ordered for St. Louis Park. Lucas Savage delivers with the runners moving on a full count pitch. A clean single to left field. You knew Keller would score for sure. But unfortunately, if you're a Knights fan, what happened is when the third baseman dives for the ball, nobody's there to cover third base, so heads up base running by Joey Jaramillo all the way around as he keeps running from first to third, and then Lucas Savage bears down and makes it all the way to second on what was a single. So Lucas Savage, as the tying run, got all the way to second base on a short single to left field. That RBI plated Keller, and Jaramillo at third with 2 out. Lucas Savage at second, and that'll bring up Kurt Greenbush, 0 for 2 with a pop-up and a nice fly ball to center, deep center. That one up the ladder. So they've got first base open here. Archie Olsen in the hole. We'll see if they elect to give Kurt some fastballs or if they're going to try to just have him chase here. We'll see what happens. Little good take, I think, that time by Kurt on that fastball. A little inside corner. 1-1. Third time through the order, so now they've seen him a little bit. Orioles up to 7 hits on the game now. That nice breaking ball that time. Kurt just not able to lay off it as he makes a swing at it. So 1-2 for Kurt Greenbush. Bushy with an open stance. Little check swing. Going to hit towards first base. Kurt going to be retired on the check swing, but a nice piece of 2-out hitting that time by Jake Lucas Savage as he comes through on the full count fastball, knocks in the second run of the game, and that'll make the score 4-2 officially for Park that inning. 1 run on the 3 hits. Lucas Savage credited with an RBI, and that'll make the score 4-2 after 5 innings. We're going to step away momentarily here on 16, but make sure you stick with us. An exciting conclusion here. 2 more innings to go here at Keller. Stay with us here on Park 16 Sports.
The best compliment I ever get is when someone says to me, "You had breast cancer?" They look at your chest, "Did you have operations?" I said, "Yeah, I had bilateral mastectomy and reconstruction." That's the best compliment.
Women who are told about their breast reconstruction options report feeling in control and experiencing a higher quality of life after cancer. Before you undergo surgery for breast cancer, get the facts. Make sure you know your breast reconstruction options. For more information, visit broaddayusa.org.
All right, we are back here for the top of the 6th inning. Orioles out hitting Irondale, but the line score is most important. Says 4 runs on 5 hits and 2 errors for Irondale. 2 runs on 7 hits and 2 errors for Park. 2-3-4, Espeseth, Danielson, Marion up. Espeseth with a late 2 for 3, including that huge double to the fence last inning. Was held in place in the 4th inning after that double to the fence. Two great plays in right field by this young man, too, last inning. That one is hit high towards second. Borderwick going to call that, but Folt's going to call him off and squeeze it with two hands nicely. So some good D the last few innings by both teams. And Espeseth, who pops that up, officially was 2 for 3 coming into that bat. Now he's going to be 2 for 4. Like I mentioned, he was in right field last inning when he made that diving play, Noah Espeseth, and then he made almost doubled off Keller as well. So this is Danielson, the 3-hole hitter. He's reached all 3 times on an error and 2 hit batters. Ferrulli with a nice slow breaking ball that time. Kenny, I don't have to ask him about those sunglasses. I guess I don't remember the sunglasses from last year when he played, but nice location. He does do a really good job of keeping the ball down. What I saw last summer was a young man who could throw that curve low in the zone, and then he used his fastball and kept it knee high or below a lot. That one lasered into left field where it's going to run into the Louette grass. Nice job by Renfrew, going to hold him to a single that time as he peels down the line there. Danielson on for his 4th straight time at his first official hit of the game. But that's going to be a 1-out hit, and he, for the 4th straight time, is going to have a courtesy runner for him. It's going to be number 28 this time, Isaac Ackerman, running at first base. I'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Jake Marjanovic. Marjanovic, another senior in the Irondale lineup. Officially on the game, he's 0 for 2, hit by pitch. Lined out to Luka Savage at third, and then also a nice play Luka made at third last time. That one's popped foul and over the dugout. So we mentioned another game tonight here at Keller. So there'll be a short break in between games, and we're going to carry that one as well here on 16. You just can't get enough baseball after this spring, or being outside, let alone the fact the sun was out for 20 minutes. So. Oh, nice slow hook that time, 0-2. Yeah, some of the parents here, as well as I, somewhat bundled up, but we were hoping the sun would be able to stay out a little longer, but I know. Nice slow breaking ball that time. Kenny's able to follow through and bury that. I know when he worked with Mike Olson this winter on his pitching, I know there was a group of 6 kids that worked with Coach Olson, who used to be on the staff and is no longer, and Kenny really made some great strides in terms of control as well. So 1-2 with 1 out. Ferrulli checks right back to him. Nice athletic play on the mound and a beautiful throw through. And we got a 1 and another double play for St. Louis Park. And Tom Remford, just what the doctor ordered, beautifully fielded positionally. So a 1-6-3 double play and another double play for Park on a beautifully hit ball up the middle, and a nice job by Joey Jeremill able to get there. But Ferrulli went high to field this position well, and he's rewarded with another double play. So second one of the game, second one in 2 innings. So that'll complete us through 5.5. Bottom of the 6th forthcoming. For St. Louis Park, it's going to be Olson, Foltz, and Nordstrom. Olson 1 for 2 on the day, scored the first run. Still in the game pitching, Jacob Goldsmith for them. Goldsmith on the day officially. What does he have for strikeouts? Let's see. 9 Ks through 5 innings, but St. Louis Park has 7 hits and has out-hit them. 7 hits in 5 innings. And Park's made much better contact the last 3 innings of the game. 3 innings, 3, 4, 5. So for Olson, Foltz, Nordstrom, and Borderwick, the bottom 4 in the order, a chance to see him for the 3rd time. And we'll see if they can get on. Unfortunately for Park, 3 unearned runs out of the 4 that were scored early in the game. And in some ways, you could say that Park has really made a nice effort. I was impressed with Archie Olson battling through a few of those bad innings, especially the second when the first 5 guys reached and he was able to hold the bases full and not allow any more than 2 runs to score. So here is the junior Olson, 1 for 2 on the day. Big left-handed hitter. See if I can tabulate how many how many pitches Goldsmith has thrown. That one hit high and deep towards right field, but not as deep as I might have thought initially, and it's a medium deep catch. Maybe more on the end of the bat. I thought he hit more of that, but my bad. He also hit it to the wrong person out there. As anything hit to Esposeth, it's like a vacuum cleaner out in right field. So nice job. So that'll bring up for St. Louis Park, Danny Foltz having a good game, 1 for 2. He's knocked in a run for the senior Foltz. Good to see you. We've had a heck of a game. Just joined a little stop down by Matt Farley, president of St. Louis Park Baseball. Matt, St. Louis Park out hitting Irondale. The young man on the hill for Irondale committed to a Division II school recently to pitch. Nice play towards third, a little bobble. Foltz, you get a reach on that. And with 1 down, Dan Foltz reached. So been a kind of interesting game. You know, Park's got 2 double plays the last 2 innings, which was cool and good to see you. When's Little League starting, Matt? You got opening day tomorrow if things go well, or are you starting next week? Or tomorrow, a full slate of games. So make your way over and support and buy some concessions. And yeah, that's great. I mean, with the way the weather's been, and so that'll bring up swing and a miss. That'll as Foltzy's on first with 1 down. Number 3 up for St. Louis Park. This is Kyle Nordstrom, the catcher. So technically, I guess we should probably have to watch the replay whether we give that a hit to Foltzy or if it's an error. But technically, I feel like I want to give Foltzy a hit, even if it's close, because he's a heck of a nice young man and a good student. Plus, he's had a good game. So 1 down, Foltz on first. Nordstrom here at the catcher with an 0-1 count. So if that was Matt Farley, if you just joined us, Matt stopped down to drop something off. And it is opening day for Little League tomorrow on May 3rd. Make sure you go to the St. Louis Park Little League website. I believe they've got 470 kids playing Little League now in St. Louis Park, which is the highest it's been in 12 to 15 years. So good things as Kyle Nordstrom goes down swinging for the 3rd time. That's 2 outs. And that'll bring up second baseman Patrick Borderwick. Here's Patrick, number 17. He's officially 0 for 2 in the game. He's the 9-hole hitter. Foltz still over on at first. Danny, a good athlete as he was a captain and linebacker for the football team. Not sure with 2 outs. He's got kind of a smaller size lead there. So, and I tell you, the way the strikes keep mounting in terms of Mr. Goldsmith throwing strikes at Park, we'll take a watch later. So Borderwick, the sophomore, we mentioned a hockey player as well. That one's up and in. Nicely executed pitch, going to be popped foul on the high fastball. Push the count to 0-2. Jason Keller on deck. Keller 3 for 3 on the day with 3 singles. He's the leadoff hitter. And I guess today you could really call him the supreme table setter for St. Louis Park. So we'll see what Goldsmith executes. He still hasn't walked a batter through 6 innings. Has he just been on top of his control? And that changeup is going to be popped to first. We'll see if there's room to play. Second baseman moving over towards that. And a beautiful catch that time by the second baseman, number 21, Ben Bookie. Ben Bookie, really the defense has been spot on for the Knights, except for the first inning bobbles. Watch the second baseman pursue. Out of nowhere, he comes in, and then he shoestrings it. Good extension. So, you know, considering these kids haven't been outside for a week, I'm really, really impressed by the defense for both teams in terms of turning double plays, making catches, etc. Because I tell you, it'd be really easy for that to be shortcoming early on. And here's a look at another junior as we've gone through 2 junior pitchers for Park, and now the 3rd junior of the day. This is Joey Jaramillo going to get an inning. I think it's very likely that a Jaramillo or a Ferruli might get a start tomorrow with a doubleheader tomorrow as well. Joey, I believe, as you take a look at number 7 there, played a ton of second base as a sophomore, starting shortstop, and is going to be used as somebody who's kind of a strike-throwing closer type towards the end of the game. So nice to see Joey getting some work after a week without starts, and then another game later today. You know you're going to need all hands on board, as it was last year too. So official line score on the season for Jaramillo. Joey, as I mentioned, has pitched in all 4 games, so he is now in his 5th game. Now, I don't know if you can keep the camera on him, Paul, for just a second, but I want to read this off. don't know if you can flip back eventually to Joey, but Joey has pitched 4 games. So every game, 5 1/3 innings. He's given up 1 hit, struck out 6, and walked 1 batter. He's only allowed 2 base runners in 5 1/3. So, and he's got 3 saves. So good chance for him to get an inning here. And what happens is when Joey pitches and Lucas Savage moves to shortstop, Archie Olsen moves to third from pitcher, and then Borderwick still at second. So Lucas Savage is, I believe, at short now. Olsen at third. That one's popped towards first base line. Will Foltz have room? Oh, what a catch by Danny Foltz. He goes over the fence nearly, and the good plays just keep on rolling for both teams. So nice play by the, I don't know, he had to go to the backhand and climb the fence. Watch this. Do we have it? Wow. Boy, I tell you, even though there's going to officially be a winner and a loser for this game in terms of the score, a lot of really bright things defensively, and that's going to, as he keeps firing strikes in there. That was Kyle Livengood who led off the 7th inning with that pop to Foltz for the first out. Watch it again. I really wish we had a zoom on this. Watch this. Good camera coverage. Oh, boom. I think his glove technically may be right at the edge of the... So another strike is 0-2 is the count. So Joey Jaramillo comes in and he's thrown 3 pitches and has an out and an 0-2 count on the batter Michael Beath here in the top of the 7th. That curveball is going to be strike 3, and a beautifully executed breaking ball is going to require Beath for the 3rd time in a row. So nice called 3rd strike by Jaramillo. And that'll bring up Scotty Black. Scotty officially 0 for 2 on the day with a walk. So Scotty Black, I like that name. Scotty Black. Wonder if everybody calls him Scotty or if some people just call him Scott. Or he looks like a good athlete though. Black is a junior, one of 4 juniors that they play out of the 10 that rotate between the 9 spots in the DH. So Black officially on the day 0 for 2 with a pop-up and a ground out and a walk. So let's see if Jaramillo still hasn't thrown a ball. Wow, he finally throws a ball. That was his 6th pitch of the inning, and he had thrown 5 strikes to record 2 outs. So he proved he can throw a ball. So Joey 1 oh, I apologize. It's 1-1. I thought it was 0-1-2. There's another one that one just misses. So 2-1 officially the count. 2-1 with 2 out, and Black up. Goes up the ladder. Nice pop up. I think Joey's going to take this himself. So a pop right to Joey. Perfect squeeze and a nice 7-pitch inning. And I'll tell you what, 7 pitches equals 3 outs. A great play by Holtz. And we're going to head to the bottom of the 7th here. It is 4-2. This is it at St. Louis Park. The numbers on the board are correct. 4 runs on 6 hits with 2 first-inning errors for Irondale. But since then, it's been spot-on defense for the Knights. St. Louis Park with 2 runs on 8 hits and 2 errors. Difference of the game has been really Jacob Goldsmith hasn't walked a batter, hasn't hurt himself at all, and has had some nice pickup plays defensively by Noah Espeseth, especially in center field. And then 3 of the runs unearned for Irondale against St. Louis Park early in the game. And we'll see what the 7th inning holds. As I mentioned, he's going for the complete game again. He entered the game with a .95 ERA. A .95 ERA. He has given up 1 earned run today, but officially through 6 innings, he had 10 strikeouts through 6 innings, no walks. That is efficiency. I don't have as an official pitch count because I haven't had time, but I don't think he's anywhere near even. I think he's probably only at about 85 pitches, 80 pitches through 6 innings. It wouldn't even surprise me if he was at 75. Last inning, he threw 7 pitches. So that'll take Park to the top of the order here. This is it in the bottom of the 7th inning. Jason Keller officially 3 for 3 with 3 singles and a run score for the junior Keller. It'll be Keller, Jaramillo, Burnley, and Lucas Savage and Greenbush if we get that far. He finally, after starting him with 3 first pitch fastballs, started him with a breaking ball there. I would have been stunned if he didn't. First 3 times up, Keller hit the first pitch fastball, looked like. So, ooh, that high fastball, nicely executed. A little too high, gets up 0-2 in the count, and now he's really in the driver's seat here on Jason. So we mentioned Goldsmith heading to St. Mary's to continue his baseball career. Him and Grabowski, the Game 2 starter, both pitched for the Minnesota Blizzard last fall. Nicely frozen right on the black that time. And I'll tell you, beautifully excellent. Yeah, it was beautifully executed pitch for the 11th strikeout of the game. And that'll bring up Joey Jaramillo. So right on the black, not much you can do there. And you can see why Mr. Goldsmith is pitching at the next level, that's for sure. Tall, lanky body. So Jaramillo officially 1 for 3. Had that nice hit to right center last time. That one peeled foul. So Jaramillo with Burnley on deck, and then Lucas Savage in the hole here. The nice thing about it, if you're a Knights fan especially, is with no walks and no hit batters, even though Park has 8 hits, every time Park has scored, they've had to maneuver the runners around. That one's going to peel into right. Let's see if that'll fall or not. And Joey Jaramillo with a never say die attitude shoots one out to right field. The second straight hit for Joey, who just did a great job throwing 7 pitches to record 3 outs in the top of the 7th inning. Just shoots that one out to right field with Espesith out in right field. And his athleticism, you never know if that's an up. And that'll bring up Joe Burnley. Joe officially 0 for 2 on the day with a couple of punch outs. 1 down. Joe officially the tying run here. So if Park can get one more guy on base, and with the outfield being so wet, the right fielder Espesith is really deep. Left fielder is pulled way over on the line. They're staying away from the water in left field. So any kind of hit to left center, ball should fall. And there's a nice curveball to start things off for strike 1. So he gets ahead of Burnley. These two guys probably know each other, as Joey Jaramillo does too, through the Minnesota Blizzard, playing in the winter and fall, and have seen each other some. Up the ladder for a 1-1 count. So 1-1, 1 down, runner on first. This is it, bottom of the 7th inning. St. Louis Park needs 2 to tie. Just misses outside, 2-1. Throw down to first, sidearm by Danielson. Nothing doing there. So 2-1, and you know Joe's going to do whatever he can to get on here because he is the tying run and has great speed. We mentioned he was timed at under 6'8" in a combine over the winter, a baseball showcase. Keeps that left arm show. Right on the corner for 2-2. So 2-2. That one was right, almost a perfect pitch. And now a lot of options if you're Goldsmith. You can prey upon the aggressiveness of the hitter here. The fact that it is 2-2 and he hasn't walked a batter, you know you have to be ready for any possible pitch. And strike 3 it is as Burnley goes down swinging. Nicely executed. I don't know if that was the 2-seam fastball, but that'll be 2 outs. And Lucas Savage, who had a nice RBI single with 2 outs last time, and the senior can definitely can turn on one here. Let's see if Jake gets something early. They've got to be ready for a fastball right from the start. You cannot fall behind in the count here, and I think if you get anything with speed early, you got to be ready. Just like right there, that's a groove fastball. So 0-1 there, 2 down. Jaramillo at first. Lucas Savage with the open stance. Just misses on the corner there as Goldsmith with excellent control. So 1-1. Big hole, as we mentioned, really all game in left center because there's so much standing water in left center field that the left fielder has to stay away from that. So, but we haven't had a lot of balls hit that way. Little breaking ball goes high there in the slider. So 21 just misses the corner there. 12 strikeouts officially on the game for Goldsmith so far, but the Orioles have managed 9 hits. And that one peeled foul. Going to push the count to 2-2. And we'll see here what Luca can do here to stay alive. He's got Kurt Greenbush on the on-deck circle, so if he can somehow reach, Orioles got to feel still that there's a lot of ball game left to be played if they can get him on. Timeout. Luca getting a practice cut in. Just kind of a conservative lead over at first for Jaramillo because he doesn't first. Smartly done by the Irondale coach. I meant to point out no reason to hold Jaramillo here, so the first baseman standing the first baseman for them behind Jaramillo. Going to let him take second if he wants it. Check swing on that curveball, and Luca keeps a weight back and holds in. He's got 3 pitches from what I see. He's got a 2-seam fastball, he's got a slider, and then he does throw a slow curve on occasion. He probably has a changeup too. I don't know if he's needed to utilize it much, but really nicely done. And like I said, the control is what's been imperative because with 9 hits, if you had even a few extra guys on. Nice job by Luca spoiling again. So that's 2 good spoils by Luca Savage at 2-2 for the senior. Luca 1 for 3 with the RBI single. He's also got the Northern spikes. I don't know what it is about that, or New Balance spikes. They must be the brand of the year. Goldsmith going to step off again. And a nice swing on the slow breaking ball. And he is able to get Luca, and that is a complete game 9 hitter with 13 strikeouts in 7 innings. So the line score for that man, Jacob Goldsmith, as impressive as can be. 7 innings pitched, 13 strikeouts, no walks. No walks. I'll tell you, Gardenhire would be mighty happy with that. Park really battled them hard. I mean, they had 9 hits, and if Park would have had any defensive miscues the last 6 innings, the score of this game would have been different. And both teams are going to play again in a half an hour. So just because one's in the books doesn't mean anybody can feel too confident about game 2. The line score official is actually officially 4 runs on 6 hits and 2 errors for game 1 for Irondale. And Park actually finished with 2 runs on 9 hits and 2 errors for game 1. They're going to meet here in about a half an hour for game 2. And I'll tell you, if the defense is that good for Irondale and if they don't ever walk a batter, then that's quite an effort by Goldsmith. I'm joined here by one of the Park parents. And I'll tell you what, Steve Greenbush, it was a great game because there was 2 double plays by Park. And even though the 13 for their guy, no walks, he just painted. He's going to St. Mary's down in Winona, which I believe is a Division II school or Division III. But I had heard about him ahead of time, and I know they got another good one, so they both pitched for the Blizzard this winter. So, but that was a great game, because if Park gets any runners with walks, errors, anything, exactly, you out-hit them. So you just tip your hat, and then you're going to see another good pitcher game 2, and especially when you got a whole week between playing too, and you haven't even been on the field, and then to see. But I thought your guys too, Steve, I realize we don't have a mic on you, but I really thought one of the really nice things was Ferrulli came in, he used all juniors, 3 pitchers, and even though Archie didn't have his control early, the second inning, their first 5 guys reached. Yes. So they had 2 in, it was 3-0, bases were loaded, nobody's out, and he got those 3 guys, and then their right fielder made a couple of good, and Danny Foltz had a whale of a game on defense, boy. So we're going to step away for game 1. Stick with us here on Park 16. We'll have another one in a minute. Take care.